artist map they sold, a map of somewhere vibrant, brave and bold. But every landmark feels familiar to my soul, a comfort I can cling to, making me feel whole. This comfort of a familiar light guides my restless stride, tracing maps of a foreign town where nothing can truly hide. In this city that never sleeps, where the dawn refuses to call, I wander in the fiction, lest the truth make me fall. The coffee shops say the corner bodega sign, every corner echoes a story that isn't truly mine. I memorize the layout, the pattern and the flow, a routine constructed where the real feelings don't grow. It's easier to walk these painted, predictable ways, lost in the geography of manufactured haze. The comforting illusion, the safe and steady art of drawing lines that keep my weary heart apart. This comfort of a familiar light guides my restless stride, tracing maps of a foreign town where nothing can truly hide. In this city that never sleeps, where the dawn refuses to call, I wander in the fiction, lest the truth make me fall. The real map has no borders, no fixed lines to roam. It exists only in the silence when I'm finally alone. But the ink is black and solid, the edge is crisp and true. Believing where you draw it, believe in me and you. This comfort of a familiar light, it guides my restless stride, tracing maps of a foreign town where nothing can truly hide. In this city that never sleeps, where the dawn refuses to call, I wander in the fiction, lest the truth make me fall. Never sleeps, the lies keep turning. The bass thumps slow and steady, a heartbeat in the crowded haze. A thousand voices mingling through these fever-lit wild days. The music pulses, a physical force, vibrating through the floor. Everybody's moving rhythmically, wanting something more. They spin together, laughing loud in a glorious blurred array, oblivious to the silence waiting at the close of play. I and bends, I see the quiet victory where the healing truly begins and ends. Oh, the relief of a closing wound stares back from a cracked mirror's gleam. A fractured portrait mirroring a long-forgotten dream, while everyone else is dancing, lost in the vibrant pulsing beat. My quiet self reflects the healing bitter neon bleed on wet asphalt, a perpetual painted sheen. The sleepless heart of this metropolis, the lit, the in-between. The street lamps cast a yellow stain on every passing face. A million stories fractured, occupying every place. I walk these thoroughfares where the rush will never cease its beat. A rhythm manufactured, comfort bittersweet and neat. I pass a shop front window where the glass is scarred and deep. A masterpiece of fractured secrets that the surfaces keep, and they're reflected back to me, distorted and so grand. Stares a stranger wearing the comfort of a life's man. The comfort of familiar life stares back from a cracked mirror's gleam. In this city that never sleeps, caught inside a waking dream. The stranger staring out at me with eyes that know too well. The easy comfort of the fiction, breaking every spell. Every chip that tells a tale of promises that bend. Every fracture holds a moment where my real self was misspent. I study the reflection, the way the light bends, wrong and bends. The practiced perfect portrait, a knowing subtle grace. A hollow echo showing me a happier time and place. It knows the careful boundaries, the stories we agree to keep. The sweet, predictable illusion where the lonely shadows creep. The comfort of familiar light stares back from a cracked mirror's gleam. In this city that never sleeps, caught inside a waking dream. The stranger staring out at me with eyes that know too well. The easy comfort of the fiction, breaking every spell. If I could smash the glass entirely, would the reflection finally break? Is the shadow frame? Oh, the comfort of familiar light stares back from a cracked mirror's gleam. In this city that never sleeps, caught inside a waking dream. The stranger staring out at me with eyes that know too well. The easy comfort of the fiction, breaking every spell. Staring back, forever staring in the glass, the light sharing. The scent of solitude on a breeze, too foreign to be true. A phantom echo if bring what the old me used to do. I trace the lines on aged parchment marked with names unknown to me. A landscape painted purely by the memory. This foreign town, it doesn't exist on any modern guide. Just etched in reckless freedom, forever green. The landmarks are the moments, the faces I outgrew, the hopeful, burning fool I was before my vision grew. I map the pathways leading back to innocence untold. The self so vivid, feels worth more than purest gold. I linger where the ink runs thin, where the border starts to fray, suspended in the beauty of the yesterday. The ghost of who you were traces the maps of a foreign town at the exact moment that the relevance breaks down. These branded streets of yesterday, they whisper sweet and low, and the need to prove the narrative is finally letting go. There's a point beyond the markings, past the final drawn out street, where the past dissolves like watercolor, perfectly obsolete. The ghost can't hold the pigment, the ink refuses to stay, because the present moment whispers that it slipped away. The ghost of who you were traces the maps of a foreign town at the exact moment that the relevance breaks down. These printed streets of yesterday, they whisper sweet and low, and the need to prove the narrative is finally letting go. No need to trace it, no need to map it, the fading image, the falling gap. The ghost simply lets it go. Echoes of a promise fading light, a whisper in the dead of night. We built these walls with promises sweet and gold, believing stories that would never grow cold. Your hand in mine, a future we designed, leaving nothing but the echoes of your mind. Thought the storm had passed, thought the tide was turning, a fragile piece, a lesson I was learning. Then the key turned slow in the silence deep inside, a familiar weight I could no longer hide. This loyalty, a cage of polished steel, a golden trap. How does the wound feel? Locked away in a drawer I couldn't see, the cage of your devotion holding captive me. Just when I learned to finally be free. Remember laughter spilling on the kitchen floor, now the silence screams behind the bolted door. You taught me how to breathe when you were near, but the breathing river built a constant fear. Thought the cage was empty, just the dust of yesterday, a secret weight that would eventually drift away. But the handle cools beneath my searching touch, a familiar ache meaning oh so much. This loyalty, a cage of polished steel, a golden trap. How does the wound feel? Locked away in a door I couldn't see, the cage of your devotion holding captive me. Just when I learned to finally be free. Alone I finally saw the bars engraved so fine, etched with every moment that was truly mine. This devotion wasn't shelter, it was just the chain, whispering softly through the pouring rain. This loyalty, a cage of polished steel, a golden trap. How does the wound feel? Locked away in a drawer I couldn't see, the cage of your devotion holding captive me. Just when I learned to finally be free. The drawer is open now, empty air remains, just the echo of the breaking chains. Neon drips like melted sorrow, staining the avenue. A cityscape, a beautiful falsehood, forever fresh and new. The city breathes this vibrant breath beneath the glow. 1,000 secrets passing by, a constant ebb and flow. Drifting the current, a luminous, unseen trace is the echo of a love that vanished, leaving no specific place. It's across the neon sign, ain't but beautiful. It whispers through the traffic haze, a lovely, fragile guise. This lost its name drifts across neon skyline, forever feeling fine. It's a fiction painted brilliant by the edge where I can hide, avoiding the plain fact that I was right. Now nowhere left to confide. I watch the colors bleed together, sighing toxic gold, a landscape of deflection, a story to be never told. It rides the current of the late night, intoxicating, bright and far. A perfect flowing watercolor, hiding nothing in my hand. It's letting go of this bright curtain, leaving nothing in my hand. It's safer in the glimmer, the embers terror, soft decay. This lost its name drifts across the neon skyline, forever feeling fine. It's a fiction painted brilliant by the edge where I can hide, avoiding the plain fact that I was right. Now nowhere left to confide. If I could catch it in my hands and name it in the spray, would the brilliance shatter outward, washing all the color away? The light is easier to hold when it shines so bright and vast than the hard, sharp clarity of knowledge built to last. Oh, this love that lost its name drifts across the neon skyline, a perfect line edge where I can hide, avoiding the plain fact that I was right. Now nowhere left to confide. The neon burns, it washes clean. The name escapes what has been. Neon bleeds across the glass, a liquid vibrant smear. 1,000 mental stories pulsing with electric fear. The city breathes a restless sigh, a symphony of light and green. The towers scrape the velvet night, indifferent and so high, watching for the secrets that drift underneath the endless sky. There are whispered truths I haven't spoken, words I never let escape. Secrets held within the static, sealed by time and fragile shape. They drift like smoke across the scalp, I'm leaving far behind. The pieces of the self I'm leaving far behind. A secret kept from yourself drifts across the neon skyline, a silent message painted perfectly sublime. In this city never sleeps, where the current will not cease. The phantom self drifts onward, finding fragile fading peace. I watch the colors bleed and clash, electric pink to acid green. Each flash of light emanates what should have never been seen. A whispered fashion caught between the taxis, passing gleam of self I barely recognize inside this waking pulsing stream. It flows past storefront windows, a luminescence untold. The burden of the truth I carried, bought and never sold. It rides the currents of the exhaust, the slogging falling rain itself, too potent for the daylight, too vivid for the flame. Secret kept from yourself drifts across the neon skyline, a silent message painted perfectly sublime. In the city never sleeps, where the current will not cease. The phantom self drifts onward, finding fragile fading peace. perfectly sublime. In the city never sleeps, where the current will not cease. The phantom self-drift on, refining fractal fading peace. Neoning, fading. Where the secret goes, where does it go? Across the skyline, never to neon pulse, awash upon the glass tonight. 1,000 artificial stars burning in the sleepless night. The city hums a lullaby, a sound both sharp and deep, where the promises of daylight are the only ones to keep. I walk these canyons, canyon manufactured gleam, chasing the refraction of an electric dream. The moon was a nose, an open canvas, bleeding into every hour. A constant raw reminder of a stolen, fragile power. But tonight, the current shifts, the fever starts to wane, as the sheer weight of the pavement washes off the page. The relief of a closing wound drifts across a neon skyline. A quiet soul surrender, wonderfully divine. Just when I learned to finally be alone beneath the glow, I feel the pressure lift, the current starts to slow. I used to search for edges, for a hand to pull me through the night, believing shelter lay beyond the reach of my own sight. But the loneliness that built these walls, these concrete shining keeps, showed me where the fragile magic of true silence sleep. No guiding voice, no steady beam, just the glow reflecting back. The self I finally claimed, along a self-made track. The wound shrinks down to ember, cooled by the urban air. A realization rising, a freedom I can finally wear. The relief of a closing wound drifts across the neon skyline. A quiet soul surrender, wonderfully divine. Just when I learned to finally be alone beneath the glow, I feel the pressure lift, the current starts to slow. It wasn't the distance or the absence of another near. It was the sound of my own breathing, banishing the years of fear. This silence isn't empty, it's full of steady breathing might, a private perfect signal burning in the neon light. The relief of a closing wound drifts across the neon skyline. A quiet slow surrender, wonderfully divine. Just when I learned to finally be alone beneath the glow, I feel the pressure lift, the current starts to slow. Neon fades, the glow subsides, just the beating heart where the healing hurt. The neon bleeds on rain-slick ground, a perfect painted gleam. A manufactured skyline built upon a waking dream. We walk these streets when nothing changes, a perfect loop of comfort, meticulously trace these cobblestone, these faded signs. A borrowed history to settle time and save my fate. I trace the map's creases, the routes I know by heart and road. Every bend a gentle comfort, every landmark a floating note. It's safer here in fiction, in the lines I can command, than facing back to solid ground with truth held in my hand. This comfort of a familiar lie, it guides my cautious stride, tracing maps of a hiss of steam, the rumble deep below. A symphony of departure, moving soft and slow. The platform breathes in strangers, 1,000 hurried breaths, a tapestry of journeys woven through success and death. Luggage carts clattering, a babel of cries and calls, where every destination answers to no calling halls. And I stand amidst the chaos, the passing of the rush. My senses overloaded in this metal humming hush. I search the faces rushing past, so transient and so fast, for a moment of quiet that was never built to last. But the relief of a closing wound echoes through the crowd today. Quiet and aftermath washes all the struggle away. And even though my hands are shaking beneath this hurried flow, I feel the seams begin to mend, watching the colors grow. I remember the tearing, the raw exposed design, the constant bleeding feeling, the edge that wasn't mine. He kept the curtain dry tight, kept the injury concealed, a painful masterpiece. The time refused to yield, so I watched the departures, the final coupling sound, the moment when the pressure eases and the healing can be found. This public theater of passing souls, a chaotic scene where the deepest quiet breakthrough is suddenly seen. But the relief of a closing wound echoes through the crowd today. Quiet and aftermath washes all the struggle away. And even though my hands are shaking beneath this hurried flow, I feel the seams begin to mend, watching the colors grow. The noise is deafening, a wall of human need and haste. But in this roaring engine, a sanctuary, a taste. It's not the silence I crave, but this powerful shared sound, the sound of breaking tension. But the relief of a closing wound echoes through the crowd today. Quiet and aftermath washes all the struggle away. And even though my hands are shaking beneath this hurried flow, I feel the seams begin to mend, watching the colors. Static like a white noise hiss, a curtain drawn so thin, where the whispers of the self begin to enter in. The world outside is shouting, a chorus bright and bold, with every headline screaming, a story to be told. I tune the dial slowly past the music and the chatter, searching for the frequency that means so much it matters. They tell you to embrace the noise, the loud and vivid sound, to drown out any whisper buried underground. But the real conversations, the truths I can't deny, are trapped within the interference passing by. A secret kept from yourself hides in the static of the radio, where the whispers of the hidden self are starting to grow. Because silence is louder than any noise you can conceive, and the truth you're running from is the sound you can't believe. I filter out the chatter of advice and shallow need, the manufactured narratives of what we should concede. Each dead air moment holds a breath I haven't drawn, a piece of self-betrayal that greets the fragile dawn. I push the dial harder past the smooth talk and the gleam, chasing down the feedback of a long-forgotten dream. It's the white noise background hiss that finally lets me see the shape of who I'm meant to be. A secret kept from yourself hides in the static of the radio, where the whispers of the hidden self are starting to grow. secret disappear? Would the absent amplify the things I long to hear? The static isn't empty, it's a language incomplete. A million voices calling out a rhythm bittersweet. A secret kept from yourself hides in the static of the radio, where the whispers of the hidden self are starting to grow. Because silence is louder than any noise you can conceive, and the truth you're running from is the sound you can't believe. Just the hum, just the pure loud hum. Static hissing, white noise blue, a frequency unseen, where the echoes of allegiance are endlessly keen. The signal jumps and flickers, a rhythm hard to hold. Stories of devotion, encoded static told. The broadcast is a chaos, 1,000 voices fighting through. But beneath the noise and rush, a single tone breaks through. They say to tune it out, to listen to the louder sound, to chase the noise that circles, spinning round and round. But the true confession whispers where no clear voice can be, in the void between the frequencies reserved for only me. This loyalty, a cage of shining wire, it hides in the static, a prison humming softly, making the truth self-erratic. Because silence is louder than the broadcast they command, and the cage they call devotion hides in the static of the radio land. Comes with careful signals, a low and steady hum, the sweet compliance whisper till all resistance has gone numb. A beautiful confinement disguised by every passing wave, a gilded noisy promise that you never choose to say. I press my ear close to the speaker, letting the signal ride, searching for the gap between the noise and the tide, for the breath held captive, the word that will not break the spell, the dangerous quiet, knowing that the static can compel. This loyalty, a cage of shining wire, it hides in the static, a prison humming softly, making the truth self-erratic. Because silence is louder than the broadcast they command, and the cage they call devotion hides in the static of the radio land. If I just turn it off completely, will the whispers disappear? Will the sudden perfect silence make the metal shine so clear? The static is the warning, the breaking of the shield, the sound of freedom ringing, finally revealed. This loyalty, a cage of shining wire, it hides in the static, a prison humming softly, making the truth self-erratic. Because silence is louder than the broadcast they command, and the cage they call devotion hides in the static of the radio land. Hear a frequency repeating, bringing no release. A melody, a memory, a love that lost its proper name. Echoing through the transit tunnels, an unextinguished flame. A love that lost its name echoes through this crowded station space. A spell of frequency sublimated, defying time, time and play. The city that never sleeps, where all goodbyes are sworn to end. The lost devotion whispers through the rush, my only steadfast friend. Each departing whistle blast, each echoing call of farewell, carries the weight of moments that I can no longer compel. I scan the faces moving by, each one a passing blur of shade, and I search for the familiar resonance of promises unmade. It haunts the underfoot beneath the rails and tracks below, a name that slips like steam escaping, nowhere left for it to go. Just the ghost of what it was echoing in the terminal's vast dome. A love that found its anthem where the wanderers wander home. A love that lost its name echoes through this crowded station space. A spell of frequency sublimated, defying time, time and play. The city that never sleeps, where all goodbyes are sworn to end. The lost devotion whispers through the rush, my only steadfast friend. The city keeps its secrets locked in the grand industrial walls, ignoring the resonance through the passing calls. But the structure of the longing, the beauty of the sweet decay, keeps the memory alive, day after passing day. Oh, a love that lost its name echoes through this crowded station space. A spell of frequency sublimated, defying time, time and play. The city that never sleeps, where all goodbyes were sworn to end. The lost devotion whispers through the rush, my only steadfast friend. The room is thick with laughter, a relentless ringing sound, a cacophony of moments where no true peace is found. The party pulse of music strains against the fading air. 100 conversations spinning out a cloud of whispered care. Every flashbulb going off, a moment caught and framed and bright, drowning out the deeper currents of the deep and lonely night. I drift away from the chorus, where the bodies press so tight, seeking out the fractured space where the shadows catch the light. And there it hangs, uneven, imperfect, scarred by years of time, a cracked mirror catching every truth in its jagged, fractured climb. The comfort of familiar light stares back from the cracked mirrors gleaming, a place where noise is the master, drown every honest dream. Because silence is louder than the noise they force us to embrace. The truth you see reflected there, etched upon that broken space. Running through the pain, the visible deception, the pleasure mixed with subtle strain. Each shard reflects a different self, a mask they choose to wear. 100 little versions of the person hiding in despair. The noise demands a spectacle, a constant roaring show, but the mirror whispers softly things the flashing lights don't know. It captures the withdrawal, the instant the music starts to bend, the sacred heavy weight of where the forced performance ends. The comfort of familiar light stares back from the cracked mirrors gleaming, a place where noise is the the volume high, let the rhythm take its toll. I'll stand here in the fragments, exposed to my own soul. The cracks are no weakness, they are where the light gets through. Where the loudest sound is silence, making everything feel new. Dust motes dancing in the afternoon's pale gleam, a captured moment, a long forgotten dream. The paper yellows, brittle under careful failing light, holding whispers from a past that faded into night. Your handwriting is elegant, just grip both sweet and slight. A capture architect of passion, burning ever bright. I trace the faded ink lines, the word barely comprehend. A story left unfinished, a love that has no end. It's addressed to nowhere now, a destination lost to time. A beautiful imprisonment of memories sublime. Oh, this love that lost its name burns inside an unread letter, a slow burning fever, a promise I can never better. My hands are shaking now against the fragile cream tone white, burning in the silence of the lonely candlelight. I search for the title, the defining phrase I should recall, the key that unlocks meaning from this written lovely fall. Did you call it yearning? Did you call it need? Or was it just the air? A nomenclature forever, a burden hard to bear. I read the promises made beneath the careful fold, a narrative of feeling. The ink is barely visible, washed by years and passing air, leaving just the warmth of longing, a burden hard to bear. Oh, this love that lost its name burns inside an unread letter, a slow burning fever, a promise I can never better. My hands are shaking now against the fragile cream tone white, burning in the silence of the lonely candlelight. I spoke the true name aloud, with the fire finally cease, with the mystery unravel, granting fragile sudden peace. But the shaking is the witness, the tremor of the heart's recall, a beautiful collapse awaiting the inevitable fall. Oh, this love that lost its name burns inside an unread letter, a slow burning fever, a promise I can never better. My hands are shaking now against the fragile cream tone white, burning in the silence of the lonely candlelight. Shaking, still shaking, the name resists, the embers burning, a beautiful unread. Creased edges whispering forgotten sound, a love that doesn't know where it can be found. Ink bled through the years, sepia stains, telling tales of fire, of pleasure and of pain. Your handwriting trembles, a tremor in the breeze, lost in the space between the heart and the unease. The scent of aged paper, a ghost upon the air, a promise whispered softly, a beauty had burned it down, would the fire consume the truth? Or just the paper wrapper hiding lost our youth? The tremble is the memory, the shaking